Hello everyone, this is Abhijit. Today we are going to discuss about multi-select drop-down. So I have created one multi-select drop-down in my HTML page. So as you can see, the languages you can speak provides multi-select drop-down here. So we can select any languages as per our choice, and this is a multi-select drop-down. I can select English, French, Spanish, Russian, multiple drop down values from here. So how do we handle these multi select drop down using our Selenium program? So let's write a program for that. Let me create a new class. So I am creating a new class. Let's name it as multi select demo. Finish. So here is our class. So I will copy few lines of code that is used regularly, like system.set property and web driver equal to new chrome driver, and I'm maximizing the driver. So I'll simply copy these three lines of codes. Okay, so I am going to use this particular URL for our application, for our program. So driver dot get yes. So now what we are going to do is, so we will find the particular multi-select drop down. So let's inspect the element, right click and inspect. So as you can see, if I click on this, we get the details of this multi-select drop down. So here it is. So we have an ID for that multi-select drop down, so that is languages. We'll copy this, driver dot find element by dot id. So we have found our multi-select drop down. So let's store it in a web element, because this is a web element type. Multi-select drop down equals to this. I'm sorry. So import the correct package for this. So now we have to write the select class. As you know, for handling drop down or multi-select drop down, we have to use the select class. I have told the details about select class in my previous session. So if you want to know more about select class, I would suggest you to go for the previous session where I have discussed about it. In the comment section I will provide the link for that particular session. So we have written the statement for the select class and import the correct package. So that is org.openqa.selenium.support.ui. So now how we can select multiple values from the drop down. So it's the similar way how we have selected in single drop down. So let's see. Dot select by index. So let me provide select by index 0. Then let's give some pause. Let's say 2 seconds, so 2000 milliseconds. So we have to add a throws declaration probably for this. Yes. Next, like dot, oh sorry, select by value. So we have to see what kind of values are available in the inspected element. So here you can see value. So let's take the value French. Then again we will pause the execution for 2 seconds so that it will be visible to us while it is executing, or else it will select the values randomly, I mean very fast, so that we cannot see it. So next is select by visible text. So what are the visible text here? So for this particular option Spanish, we have a visible text here, right, next to value. So we'll copy this and we'll write it. So if it is a normal drop down, so there what would have happened is like, so first it would have selected the index 0 value, so which is basically English. Then it would have selected French, then it would have selected Spanish. So it would have been selecting only one value, but as we have a multi-select drop down here, so it will first select English, then French, then Spanish in the same order, but it will be selecting all together. All three will be selected. So let's save it and run this program and we will see how it goes. Rebooted my machine, so probably it's a bit slow. So it has maximized the window and it provided the URL. So now we have our multi-select drop down. English is selected, then French selected, then it should select Spanish. Yes. So our program worked fine, right? So we don't see any other errors in the console. So now what we are going to write is like, we will write the deselect statement. So let's write deselect by visible text first. So we have used Spanish, right? So we will use the same. then we'll provide a thread dot slip. Now so deselect by value, so let's take the same value in the same order. So it should deselect the French drop down value now. Then again thread dot slip for 2 seconds. Deselect by index, so we will deselect the value index value 0 here, that is English. So let's save it and run our code once again, and we'll see how it is going. So here is our window that is maximized, and it is selecting English, French and Spanish. Again it deselected Spanish, then French, then English. So yeah, that's about it. So how it is deselecting the values. So we have another method here, so that deselects all the value altogether. So I will show you that as well. So rather than writing these lines of codes, what I am going to write is I am going to write only one statement, that is deselect all. So let's see how that works. Dot deselect all, the first option we will choose and we will see. So here what I have done is like, so we are selecting by index, we are selecting by value, then we are selecting by visible text, then we are simply deselecting all the values with one statement only. Let's save and run the code. Yeah, so it should select English, French and Spanish, and it should deselect all together. Yes, as you can see, it has deselected all together. So that's how deselect all works. So as I told you, like we have one more method, so that is to get all the selected values. So let me comment this line and I will write the last method here. That method is get all selected option, and this will return us a list of web element. So let's create one list. All selected value, all cell val, we will provide the variable name equals to select dot get all selected options. As you can see, this is a type of list web element, so we are going to use this particular option here, this particular method here. So this will give us all the selected values from the MultiSelect drop down. So let's import this particular package here for list. So we have to import this java.util one, so that's fine now. So if I want to print the number of drop down values, how many drop down values are there in the particular multi-select drop down, so what we are going to do is like all cell val dot size. So it will provide us the size of this particular list. So let's write some meaningful statement here so that we can understand, okay, we are printing this size of this particular list. The number of values in the drop down is, so it will provide the number of values available in the multi-select drop down. So if we want to print all the values available in the multi-select drop down, so what we are going to do, so we will write one for loop. We have element lim inside this all cell val we will provide the system.out.println method here. So what we will do, lim dot get text. So what we have done here is basically we have created another web element type element here, so that we have given it the name as elim, and we are iterating in the list, that is all cell val, so it will print all the values from this particular list. So we have used the get text method here, and we are simply using the print method here, system.out.println. So it will print all the values available in the multi-select drop down. So let's save it and run this particular program, and we will see how it is displaying the output. So here is our application, and the code is selecting the values English, French and Spanish. So now we are not writing any deselect method here, so it will not deselect any values here. So let's go to Eclipse and see what is the output. Okay, the number of values in the drop down is 3. So rather than displaying the values of our multi-select drop down, it has given the output as lim.getText 3 times. Okay, so this is not the output what we expected. So let's see what is the problem where it went wrong. So what we have done here is, okay, so the mistake what we have done here is, like, we have put it under the quotes, so that's why it took it as a string and it print this particular string value only. So we shouldn't have done that, so the code should not be there, because this is a method, getText is a method, and it is simply fetching the value of this elim. So I will save it 1 second and we will run it and we'll see how it goes. So here our browser is opened, it is maximized, and it is selecting the values now, English, French and Spanish. So our program stops there and it gets the number of values in the multi-select drop down, and what are the selected values here in this multi-select drop down. So we'll see the number of values in the drop down is 3, so we should have given it some meaningful statement here. So we, rather than writing the number of values in the drop down, we should have written the number of selected values in the drop down, because we are getting here, give me a second, what is this happening? Okay, So get all selected options, right? So that's why it is selecting, it is giving the value of drop down as 3, because we are selecting only 3 values here. If we select 5 values, then definitely it will give the value as 5. And the output here, English, French and Spanish. So I hope you guys are clear about this. So how we are, selecting the values in a multi-select drop down, how we are deselecting all the values all together, how we are getting what are the selected values in a multi-select drop down, and what is the number of selected values in a multi-select drop down. We can get all the details using these methods, and this is the program I have written showing you all the details. So I hope you all are clear. Please let me know if you have any other questions. Thank you everyone for watching the video.